Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In the fourth lunar month of the year 1421, Emperor Yongle Zhu personally attended an execution site. Witnessing nearly 3,000 palace maids being subjected to the gruesome punishment of Lingchi, death by 1,000 cuts. The air was filled with the wailing of the palace maids. When one of them, overcome with fury, shouted, "It is you who have grown old and weak. Yet consort with eunuchs, what crime have we committed?" These words pierced Zhu's heart like a dagger. Enraged, he personally ordered severe punishment for the maid who had spoken out. The entire imperial harem was instantly engulfed in an atmosphere of dread, with fear spreading within the palace walls. It was also in this year that Zhu announced the relocation of the capital to Beijing, bringing envoys from all corners of the empire to pay tribute. After years of diligent governance, the Ming dynasty rose as a formidable power in the east, flourishing in strength and influence. Zhu is widely regarded as one of the most influential emperors of the Ming dynasty. He launched military expeditions against the Mongols, dispatched Zheng He on his voyages to the western seas, and oversaw the compilation of the Yongle Encyclopedia. Under his rule, the Ming dynasty witnessed economic prosperity and territorial stability. The history of the Ming dynasty once praised him. His military prowess and strategic vision were on par with the founding emperor, Hongwu. Yet, despite his grand achievements, this brilliant ruler committed one of the most shocking atrocities in Ming palace history, executing over 2,800 palace maids in a fit of rage following the death of his beloved concubine from Korea. What secrets were hidden behind this massive imperial scandal? Did historical records truly capture the reality of this event? Would Emperor Yongle Zhu really order such a horrifying palace massacre? To understand the truth, we must start with the death of consort Yuan. The death of consort Yuan. In the year 1410, 8 years after Zhu ascended the throne, he personally led an army of 500,000 troops on a northern campaign against the Mongol Tatars, securing a major victory. However, just as the triumphant army was returning and passing through Shandong, Zhu received devastating news: consort Yuan was gravely ill. Unlike previous swift and light military campaigns, Zhu had brought along his full imperial retinue, including several palace concubines. Among them was his most beloved, consort Yuan. According to the history of the Ming dynasty, biographies of empresses and consorts, in the 10th month of the following year, she accompanied the emperor on the northern expedition. On the return journey, she passed away in Licheng and was buried in Yixian. Consort Yuan had accompanied Zhu on his northern campaign but fell critically ill on the journey home, never to recover. Upon receiving the news, Zhu rushed to her tent, only to find her lying weakly on the bed, her face pale, barely able to speak. He sat beside her, softly comforting her, and immediately summoned the imperial physicians. But he could not have imagined that this would be their final meeting. That very night, consort Yuan passed away. Zhu was devastated, murmuring in grief, "All whom I have loved have left me. First Miao Jin, and now consort Yuan, who resembles her so much. I longed for them, only to lose them both." Consort Yuan, whose family name was Guan, was of Korean noble descent, the daughter of Guan Jichung, a high-ranking official with the title Jason Dafu. At the time, Korea, Joseon, also known as Goryeo, was a vassal state of the Ming dynasty. As part of its tributary obligations, Korea regularly sent noblewomen to the Ming court as concubines. Among them was consort Yuan, who quickly won Zhu's deep favor and was soon granted the title of consort Yuan. According to the history of the Ming dynasty, Guan, posthumously titled Lady Yuan, was a Korean noblewoman. She entered the Ming palace as a tribute consort during Emperor Yongle's reign. Skilled in playing the jade flute, she was dearly loved by the emperor. Consort Hyan was known for her grace and musical talent. Yet in a palace filled with talented women, what set her apart was not just her artistry, but her uncanny resemblance to another woman from Zhu Di's past. In the year 1408, Huang Yan, the eunuch of the Directorate of Ceremonial, was sent on a diplomatic mission to Joseon. Upon his return, he brought back 5 Joseon women, among whom was an 18-year-old girl named Guan. When she was presented before Emperor Yongle Zhu Di, he was momentarily stunned. He fixed his gaze on Guan for a long moment before slowly speaking. "What talents do you possess?" Guan lowered her head and replied, "I am skilled in music." Zhu Di nodded slightly and said, "In that case, play a tune for me." Guan took the jade flute handed to her by a palace attendant. As the melody flowed, it was delicate yet rich with emotion, as if pouring out a hidden longing. Zhu Di listened in silence, his expression growing increasingly complex. The girl before him bore an uncanny resemblance to someone he had once desired but could never obtain. His thoughts drifted back to many years ago when that woman had told him, "Your Majesty, you have countless consorts in the palace, a beauty among the clouds. I, with my humble appearance and unremarkable virtues, am unworthy of assisting your Majesty, let alone becoming the mother of the nation. I beg your Majesty to rescind your decree." Frustrated, Zhu Di had responded, "You are the daughter of Suda, Duke of Wei, and the younger sister of my late empress. You are more than worthy of the empress position. Besides, if I wished to marry you, who would dare to take you as their wife?" However, the woman had resolutely answered, "I would rather spend the rest of my days in devotion to Buddhism, under the light of oil lamps." Zhu Di snapped back to reality, looking at the young woman before him, his heart filled with unexpected joy. Perhaps this was heaven's way of compensating him. Throughout his life, Zhu Di had only ever had one empress, Su Miaoyun, the eldest daughter of Suda, Prince of Zhongshan. The woman he had yearned for but never obtained was Su Miaoyun's younger sister, Su Miaojin, who was 20 years her junior. According to Su Miaojin's epitaph recorded in the collected works of Qin Xian, Su Miaojin was exceptionally intelligent from a young age, possessing outstanding literary talent. As she grew older, she became even more beautiful, exuding a remarkable aura. Zhu Di had long admired this brilliant and beautiful younger sister-in-law. Yet, out of respect for Empress Su Miaoyun, he had never expressed his feelings. In the 5th year of the Yongle reign, 1407, after Empress Su's passing, Zhu Di decided to make Su Miaojin his empress. To his shock, she firmly refused and chose instead to shave her head and become a nun rather than enter the palace. This act greatly stunned Zhu Di. Some believe that Su Miaojin's refusal stemmed from her disapproval of Zhu Di's Jingnan campaign. Seeing it as an act of rebellion and usurpation, and thus refusing to marry a man she deemed unworthy. Her rejection remained a thorn in Zhu Di's heart, until one day, a woman strikingly similar to her, Guan, entered his palace. It seemed that he had finally found solace in a replacement. Even his son, Zhu Gaoxiu, once remarked, "Consort Guan bears a 7-fold resemblance to aunt." Favored by Zhu Di, Guan remained in the palace for 7 years before being granted the title of virtuous consort and entrusted with overseeing the imperial harem. However, her growing influence incited jealousy among the other consorts, especially concubine Lu, who also hailed from Joseon. One day, concubine Lu visited consort Guan's residence and, upon seeing her radiance, mockingly remarked, "Consort Guan, you are truly capable, managing the imperial harem. Who knows? Perhaps you will soon become empress." Consort Guan remained composed, replying calmly, "I am merely overseeing palace affairs temporarily and have no intention of vying for favor. We are both foreigners in this palace, why must we be at odds?" Concubine Lu sneered. Empress Su was of noble birth, bore the emperor a son, and yet she still met an early demise. "And you?" How long do you think you'll last as virtuous consort? Though palace attendants noticed the tension, the matter was quickly dismissed, and concubine Lu thought no more of it. Soon after, Zhu Di led a northern expedition against the Mongols, taking consort Guan along. On the journey, she suddenly died under mysterious circumstances. When the news reached the palace, concubine Lu's words seemed to have become an eerie prophecy. At the time, the death of consort Xian left Zhu Di devastated, yet he never suspected anyone. However, 3 years later, a shocking truth was revealed during an argument between two palace maids. They claimed that consort Xian had been poisoned by concubine Lu. This rumor quickly reached Zhu Di's ears, and he was furious. He ordered the embroidered uniform guard to launch a thorough investigation. Under brutal torture, concubine Lu confessed that she had instructed her trusted eunuch to obtain arsenic from a silversmith. During the journey back to the capital after the northern expedition, she poisoned consort Xian's tea, leading to her death. Upon hearing this, Zhu Di flew into a rage. He ordered concubine Lu to be interrogated under extreme torture for a month before sentencing her to death. Her palace maids, eunuchs, and even her family members in Joseon were implicated. Ultimately, over 300 people were executed. However, the storm did not end there. In 1420, consort Jialu and palace maid Yu were accused of having illicit relations with eunuchs and took their own lives. This raised Zhu Di's suspicions. He ordered a thorough investigation, only to uncover an even more shocking secret: concubine Lu had been wrongfully accused. The true mastermind was consort Jialu. Born into a humble background, she remained out of favor after entering the palace. She once sought to befriend concubine Lu but was rejected. Out of resentment, she spread rumors about consort Xian's death, framing concubine Lu. Even more shocking was the revelation that consort Jialu had not only set up concubine Lu but had also plotted to poison Zhu Di himself. Enraged, Zhu Di immediately ordered a massive purge by the embroidered uniform guard and the Eastern Depot. Over 2,800 palace members were implicated. In the end, he commanded the execution of all those involved. On that fateful day, palace maids were escorted to the execution ground, where executioners carried out the punishments for several consecutive days. Zhu Di personally oversaw the executions, showing no mercy. One furious palace maid shouted, "Our families have fallen into decline, so we sought comfort in young eunuchs. What crime is that?" Enraged, Zhu Di personally executed her. According to historians, this massacre is not recorded in the history of Ming or the Ming Shirlu, veritable records of the Ming, but is mentioned in the Joseon annals. Whether Joseon's historical records can fully represent Ming history remains in question. As a result, many historians believe the authenticity of this bloodbath is difficult to verify. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.